In Kingdom Come Deliverance, the journey is vastly different from the typical gaming experience. Unlike most games, this one doesn't rely on instant gratification or a rapid progression system. Instead, KCD drip feeds you progress, offering no early glimpse of power. Many games give you a brief taste of strength and then strip it away. Not this one. Yeah, you begin as Henry, a young blacksmith's son who wakes up hungover in Skalitz. The game quickly makes it clear that every decision matters, with Henry's father sending you on a
Come
couple of
here, I need
errands,
your help.
one of them being debt
At
collection.
least you're up, that's a start. Anyway,
There are
what was it
various
worth?
ways to complete them. In my first playthrough, I tried beating it out of him. He was just a drunkard after all. To my surprise, he easily beat me. I ran home to be patched up by my mother. This is also when the game really shows you that you are not the Dragonborn. You can't overpower enemies just because you are the protagonist.
Hurt! Won't stop bleeding.
In my second playthrough, I tried using speech. Unfortunately, Henry was not able to succeed, and instead of running to my mother, this time I ran to my friends. After helping them throw manure at someone's house, they returned the favor by helping me collect the debt. These are just some of the various ways you can complete this one task. Another option is to go in and try and steal it. Or, after being defeated, try to choke him out and hit him from behind with a few dirty jabs. Then, loot the keys off his body and his clothes if you want. Another task is to collect 10 coal for your father. Now, depending on when you do this, whether it's before or after the debt, it can be quite challenging. For me, I had collected the items from the debt, but unfortunately I didn't haggle well enough. So, I went back to Henry's house, raided the pantry of all the fruits and vegetables, and sold them. Now, I'm sure there are many other ways people have found to make the money for the coal, but raiding the pantry was the easiest for me.
Let's start with the basics. Keep
Although
moving.
Kingdom Come
Your life
Deliverance isn't
depends on
big on
it.
tutorials, there is a brief tutorial on swordsmanship, teaching you the bare minimum or the basics of using a sword, but it is made painfully clear that Henry can't really wield a sword properly. Skalitz is attacked, and despite their fighting back valiantly, Henry looks on helplessly as his parents are killed. After a series of questionable decisions, the sword his father made is stolen, and after yet another close shave with death, Henry wakes up in Rattay. One of the first missions you do is with Sir Bernard. He trains you in swordsmanship, teaching you essential skills like how to block and dodge. The training is crucial as it builds on the basics you've learned and prepares you for the tougher battles ahead. Afterwards, Sir Bernard moves on to archery. Archery being extremely annoying. I actually learned archery quicker in real life. After that, you are on sentry duty with Nightingale. This mission acts as a tour of Rattay and introduces you to various shops and mechanics. The world begins to open up, though you are still on foot and fight like a villager with a stick. That didn't stop me from going on my own adventures though. Take one example, a bounty hunt for Sir Bernard. It took me 2 hours to succeed. At first, I charged in, trying to defeat the bandits head on. After failing numerous times, I realized Henry wasn't a match for them. So, I waited for nightfall, snuck into their camp, and assassinated the bandit leader.
To arms!
Looted
Get
him, jumped on his horse, and charged through his men.
Come here, Lily Liver.
What I love most is that everyone's experience can be different, even in the same missions. On one bounty hunt, I took a path covered by trees and got thrown off my horse by a barking dog, only to be killed by human soldiers. In another attempt, I found a grave and dug up a new sword, which I used to slaughter the bounty and his men. Alternatively, I could have poisoned their food, waited for nightfall like I had done before, or waited for the bandit leader to leave camp and take him out with a few well placed arrows. The world of Kingdom Come isn't the biggest open world, but it's incredibly dense. Events happen independently of Henry, making the world feel alive, and the situation Henry finds himself in feel like they could happen to anyone in Bohemia. For example, I quickly learned not to always take the main roads. as I risked being ambushed by bandits or desperate peasants. Kingdom Come does not hold your hand. Henry gets hungry and food spoils over time. Towns and camps offer easy to find pots of stew, but on the road you need non perishable food like dried meat. If you hunt, be sure to cook the meat to avoid getting sick. Injuries, like bleeding, require bandages, and you can't just pop a health potion mid-fight. Bleeding adds a sense of urgency, forcing you to end fights quickly before the wound becomes fatal. Henry also needs rest. This means finding a bed, whether it's a straw mattress or a comfy bed. There's even a perk that makes Henry prefer uncomfortable beds over comfy ones. As for money, there are many ways to earn groschen. In my first playthrough, I looted corpses after battles and sold everything off, even though this meant that I was encumbered and walked slower. Bounties pay, but the experience gained often outweighs the money earned. Gambling is also an option, but I found thievery to be the most fun, especially robbing the dice players by the inn outside Rate. Much like Skyrim, the more you do something, the better you get. Enjoy using an axe? The more you use it, the more your skill improves, unlocking new combos. Want to be better at sneaking? Then sneak more. You can also pay experts to train you if you can afford it. In Kingdom Come, nothing comes easy, but that's exactly what makes it so rewarding. During the Ginger in a Pickle quest, the Nahov stud farm is raided, leaving horses and workers dead. As I investigated, suspicion fell on someone from the farm, but along the way, you are thrown into one of the game's best side missions. You meet a priest practicing with a wooden sword outside his church. To get the information you need, you both end up drinking all night, fighting the bailiff, and then helping him with the hungover church service the next morning.
Let me get straight to the point. I'd like to talk about the church and how corrupt it is.
The mission's humor and chaos are perfectly balanced, and it feels like the developers made sure you wouldn't miss it. It's easily one of the most memorable parts of the game. I really want to talk about how much I love the forests in Kingdom Come Deliverance. Walking through them feels incredibly similar to walking through a real forest. It's so quiet, with only the sounds of nature surrounding you, birds chirping, leaves rustling, and the wind in the trees. There aren't any random events or monsters jumping out to attack you. It's just you and your thoughts. You might see some animals, but mostly it's peaceful. It's one of the most realistic forest environments I've ever experienced in a game. Now it was time for the game's first full-scale battle. Unfortunately, during the fight, the game crashed multiple times. Luckily, I found a solution on Reddit, deleting some saves, and pushed through. Before the battle, I realized Henry was still too weak, so I returned to Sir Bernard for more training.
Well done.
He taught me how to counterattack and a combo, which made a big difference.
That's it. Try it once more.
My gear was also terrible, so I snuck around the war camp, stealing a better set of armor and leveling up my sneak. After that, I was finally ready. Although Henry didn't recover the stolen sword, he got a small taste of revenge and proved himself in combat.
You live to fight another day, eh?
After the battle was won, I felt much more confident in my abilities and was ready for more quests and adventures. Thank you for watching. This wasn't a review, just my personal experience with Kingdom Come Deliverance. All the footage was captured on my Xbox Series S. If I mispronounced any names or got any facts wrong, I apologize. Again, this isn't a recommendation to buy the game, just my journey through it. I'll be working on part 2 soon, so stay tuned.